What up, everybody? It's your man Dame D NYDC. Two mics up. Man, it's a brand new year. And I'm excited. Tonight, I'm gonna have the pleasure of sitting with two powerhouse, hosts, individuals, uh my Mogul Global TV cohorts, if you will, who are bringing, two various backgrounds and what they do and what they like to present. But they're here just to lighten up the mood, as I said, as we move into the new year. And before I bring these two amazing ladies, to join me on the mics this evening, you know, I want to say thank you to you all, who have continued to support me and two mics up, over the years, and the work that we continue to put out. We couldn't do it without you all. So, if you're here, I see some people lurking. Go ahead and drop where you from in the chat. Let us know where you're from. If you here, you checking in on tonight's guest, go ahead and drop them. Drop who you rocking with. Give them a round of applause. I want to go ahead and support, these ladies that are here with me tonight. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and bring to the stage two amazing individuals. As I said, you know, welcome Natasha Bryant and Miss Tina Foy. Ladies, how are we doing this evening?
Hello, hello. I'm doing well.
Hello, doing awesome.
All right, I love it. We're having a good time. Talking backstage. Getting to know Natasha. Not going to say anything. Sometimes we do have technical issues, as one of our co-hosts and guest tonight was saying, but we got her in just in time. But before we really get into tonight's fun, ladies, if you could, and I'm going to start, as I see it on my screen here to my right. I want to get to know you and allow you to introduce yourself to our audience, and hopefully our audience will become your audience, and your audience will become my audience, here on Mobile Global TV. But just to get to know who you are. So I'm going to start, you know, who is Natasha Bryant?
Who is Natasha Bryant? Well, I am a speaker. I am an author. I've published books. I actually have a book coming out. I'm a mental health expert and confidence mindset coach specialist, and I own a private practice here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Speak Like Transformation. And so I'm just on a mission as a licensed clinical social worker to take mental health outside, expand it beyond the walls of the therapy office into your homes, your businesses, your conversations. So we can just, as a society and just also as people of color, talk more about mental health and mental wellness. And when I'm not working with women through my coaching program or through individuals through therapy, I am an auntie of four, and I love to travel, and I'm a foodie for life. I love to eat. And I'm always talking about food. I hurried up and ate before we came here. And so that's a little bit about me.
I love it. I love the auntie and the foodie for life. Straight from Philly. Might have to come see. We had to get some of them cheesesteaks. And which one is it? Geno's or what's the other one?
Pats.
Yeah,
Geno's or Pats.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, listen, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not from Philly. I live in
Oh,
Philly, but I'm a Jersey girl all day. I claim
okay.
Jersey all day. I'm a beach girl. Summertime, I'm a Jersey beach girl for sure. Grew up going to the beach. So my opinion might be a little slighter than a regular Philadelphia.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate you for giving us some insight to who you are. Jersey in the building, y'all. But you living in Philly.
Yes.
Go figure. All right. Tina, Miss Tina Foy. Now Tina, she too. Tina, just like Natasha, wears a plethora of hats. So I'm going to allow Tina to go ahead and jump on the mic, and please take a moment, Tina, and let us know who is Tina Foy.
Well, like you said, Tina Foy, I wear many hats. I'm a mom, a wife, and entrepreneur, former model, a pageant queen,
Wow.
and a TV host, and just recently an author. So I wear
Wow.
many hats. I started my business just because I had my own struggles and
Mm,
forgot about self care. I got caught up in taking care of everyone else around me. and forgot myself. So between Bella by Tina Foy, which is my cosmetics line, and Beauty and Me with Tina, which is on the Mogul TV network, they're all about everything's fall back to self-care. It all reminds us that take time out for yourself. Remember that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your loved ones.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's me in a whole nutshell.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, well, congratulations for being an author. Never know. Okay, that's one of the things I must have missed in the bio. I didn't know that you were a beauty pageant queen. Okay, yeah, I gotta change gears for a second. There, what was that whole experience like? Going through that process.
Well, I did it when I was younger. This might tell my
Okay.
age a little bit, but I did it when I was younger, and I recently started back a couple years ago, and I got into a really nice pageantry system, Mrs. Imperial Nations, that is less about beauty and more about what you do for your community. So I have
Mm,
some amazing sister queens that we get out and we get to do a lot of charity work, and it's more about that than the glitter and the glam and the crowns and sash.
right.
Mhm.
Well, that's very mind blowing for me. I mean, I've never had a beauty queen on the show, so it's the first hit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I see everybody. I see you in the comments. I see you in the weeds. I just got a message. I don't know if you're watching this on Facebook. Seems like there's an error with comments or anything. So if you would switch to our YouTube channel at Two Mics Up or LinkedIn, please do join the conversation. We want to go ahead and make sure we get all your comments. And if, like I said, if you're sitting in the weeds though, and you're on YouTube or one of the others, go ahead, drop us a comment. Let us know where you're from. Come and join. Say hello. Another Mogul TV. G Ware, what's happening, brother? Thank you for joining. Thanks for supporting. Appreciate you being here. Another gentleman, we're gonna work to have Gerard on the show at some point in the near future. Thank you, Gerard, for joining us. So, ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and ask another thing. Up Mogul Global. We got Tamika and the whole family in the building. Shout out to Mogul Global TV. Thank you for go ahead and rocking with us. Um, I do have a curious question. We're gonna talk about New Year's tonight, and I'm not a big New Year's resolution type person. But I'm curious for you guys, if you are, and do you create a list, and if your list is extremely long and extensive, or is it something that we try to keep short and sweet? Because I mean, that's me. I'm not. I think this year I came in with one resolution, for the new year, and that was just to continue to work on my ambition, to continue to be positive, and bring some type of light and joy, if possible, into others' worlds. So, with that, I'm curious, Tina. I'll start with you. You know, long resolution list, short resolution list, no resolution list. What does it look like for you when you start the new year?
Recently, about 3 years ago, I would say no resolution list. I used to have one. I used to be really long, but I always got disappointed if I missed even one thing. I was so
Mm,
OCD about it. So I decided that I would quit making a list, and every
okay.
month I would have a different goal to meet. And
Mm,
that would be my thing to do instead of creating a whole list for the new year and go down on myself if I didn't complete that list.
mm. I can think that that is one of the things that's hard. When you feel like you're defeating yourself, and that really
Mhm.
kind of puts things on the back burner, or I don't want to say forces you, but sometimes we don't have the fortitude um, to continue on. And I see you, Natasha, shaking your head. Maybe coming from your space. Do you find that a lot? With people, in conversations when they create their list, or yourself creating your own list. Do you find when you hit a wall, you're like, oh man, heck with this. Let me go ahead and grab this sandwich or whatever it may be.
Yeah, for sure. I do not promote resolutions. It's so funny. I
Mm,
actually just did I recently just did a post because one of the I have a summit coming up, and one of the things I talk about is how we get caught up in the resolution. So
yeah.
this time of the year, even with vision boards, I'm not necessarily against vision boards, but I'm against the hype and the energy behind the two of them. Right? There's so much
Mm,
hype and so much energy about the excitement of this idea of doing this new thing that there's no intention behind it. It's just we're just doing it because it's that time of the year.
Mhm.
Um, and then that's why then a week later, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, the vision board ends up just being, you know, a decoration on the wall, or the resolution ends up, you either forget you even had the resolution, or you've already like went back on the resolution multiple times, right? And so
Correct.
I think it's more about just setting intention of like, what is it, what is your vision, what is your goals for the year, and or not even just for the year, just in general, and then coming up with a plan of action. And when you come up with a plan of action, that's more intentional. And so similar to what Tina was saying, what I do instead, I create something called a quarterly vision board. And
Mm,
so instead of creating a vision for the entire year, which is could be overwhelming, and which even a resolution, because a resolution feels a lot of times feels really mandated, like I have to follow this, which kind of connects to what Tina was saying about how you can become OCD or really fixated on it, and
right.
you know, putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And so being able just to like look at it quarterly, that's how you can be intentional. Like, this is what I'm focusing on now, and if I don't make it, it's okay, I can continue the next quarter. And so
Mm,
that's how I look at it.
hmm. That's a very different approach. I'm gonna have to put that one in my little notebook because I've never thought of it or looked at it from that perspective. So thank you, for sharing that. And to continue on to the new year. Alicia, good evening. Alisa, sis, what's happening? Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you all here. Um, I'm curious if you were, or if I were to ask you, you know, let's just say, I don't know, in 3 words, how you would, let's say, describe yourself, for someone just meeting you. We're here in the new year and we've just met each other this evening in person. How would you like our audience? Hey, what's happening, Ann? Thank you for joining us. How would you describe yourself in 3 words or less? And Natasha, I would start with you.
I would say silly, if you haven't seen by now our dialogue. I would say I never thought of myself as this, but when I've been around people in problems, I recognize that I'm more of an optimist. I'm that person that
Mm,
definitely can see the glass half full instead of half empty, for sure. And then the third I would say is determined. And
mm.
starting a business definitely has put more of a fire in my determination, has really forced me to be even more determined than I've ever been. And so that's been a very active traits or skill set of mine that I've been really executing a lot of.
Well, I love that. That's really dope. Tina, what would you say to someone who's just meeting you, and how would you describe yourself with 3 words?
I am very passionate
Mm,
about things, even people sometimes a little bit too much.
okay.
Um, Creative. My mind gets very uh, artsy when it comes to different aspects of things, even in business. And then I would say very open minded. I
Mm.
think of things that are out the box. I see things on both sides.
You probably make a good attorney. You probably probably no, really. I mean, you have to be open minded. I was just speaking as a criminal justice major. I was, you have to be open minded. And I would say for myself, um, is I'm very humble. I like
Mm,
to uh, give glory and give grace for the things that have happened me, because this was not by my design or my creation. So through all success, good or bad, because sometimes it's bad that comes with it, I find myself to be humble. I am an animal, if you will, when it comes to reading. Knowledge to me is key. Uh, you know, yeah, yeah, it's true. I'm just being honest. Trace of a good attorney, no lie there. I'm a voracious reader. I love to read. And even in conversation, I may hear you say something in the back of my mind. I may agree with it or I may not, or it may strike something in me to say, you know what, go find out more. And I really like to go out and really challenge myself and stretch myself through reading, because that knowledge, once you have that knowledge, no one can take that away from you. That's
mhm,
yours.
mhm, mhm,
And
mhm.
um, I'm going to say this for my family who knows me, and this is by nature. I'm a Taurus, so I tend to be stubborn sometimes, and I'll own that. And for those y'all who know me, don't put nothing in the comments. It's not time for you to drop anything in the comments. So we're gonna go ahead and move on with that. Um, Next thing, I do to get a feel for who you are, your personality, if you would. If you could every day, you know, would you rather have every traffic light turn green or have the best available parking spot, whether it be going to the work or ladies, I don't want to stereotype, but if you're going to the mall or on an excursion, you know, which would you rather have? And I'm gonna start with Tina just because she laughed first. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna start with Tina.
I would say I would go for the parking spot. I want the best parking spot. I can gun it and get there, but just let me have a really good parking spot.
We already see already. She going to the mall, y'all. She want the front door. Natasha, what would it be for you?
You know, living in the city, you would think I would say parking spot, because parking is it's a struggle when you live in the city. But actually, it would be a green light. Like my time is everything. Let me just get there. Like I don't want any delays. I don't want anything that's gonna, prevent me from delaying me from getting where I need to go. So I'll take all the green lights.
Okay. I think for me it would be the same. I would have to say, give me all the green lights. Um, Time sometimes is precious. You got places to go. You
Mhm.
have things to do. And being from a Caribbean background, we always late to everything. So I'll take the
You
green
need those
lights,
green
right?
lights to be on time.
Yeah, I need them to be on my time. I need them to work on my time for real. And exactly, G. We are taking all the green lights, brother. I want to go back and take a moment and say hello to La Antoinette. Thank you so much, sis. For joining us. My shorty, Anna. What up, shorty? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. We're gonna go ahead and continue to have some fun. Exactly. Definitely taking the green lights. I know you, my child. You definitely taking the green lights because patience sometimes. Well, that ain't gonna. Never mind. I'm gonna move on past that one. Um, we gonna move. We got another comment. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. Yeah, you probably taking the green lights too. Alicia over here laughing. I'm pretty sure she's jumping in on the green light action. Um, so ladies, I want to change gears for me because being business owners, and like we said at the very top, you both are very yeah, Gerard. Uh-huh. That's exactly what it means.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
you hit it on the head, Gerard. You hit it right on the head. Yes, that's exactly what it means, brother. I mean, but I'm glad you was paying attention. I don't want no problems. We got to get through this here. I don't want Tasha come looking for me. She's from Jersey. Um, but as business
Oh,
owners,
goodness.
I know, you ladies have multiple hats that you wear, and you're doing a plethora of things, in the community, around the community, and living life. But I'm curious to know for you, how do you push through? Because I know some days have to be harder than others. Time goes by, and I'm just curious to know for you, like, where do you find your inspiration? And I think that's key. And here going into 2024, you need that inspiration. But where do you find the inspiration to keep pushing through on those days that you're finding it really hard uh, to kind of, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's, if you will? And Natasha, I'm going to start with you.
It's okay if you call me Tasha as well. I go by that as well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
Thank you.
yeah, some people get really, they feel some type of way about nicknames sometimes. So I'll just let you know. If you call me Tasha, it's
Exactly.
all good. I understand. Trust me, I've been
That's,
there. Um, but this question was so such an on-time question because I just posted this on my social about pushing through even when like growth is pushing through even when you don't want to do it, like doing the things that you don't want to do. And I would say, and this might it might sound egotistical or cynical, but it's not in that way. But I would say I motivate myself in the sense of recognizing that the positions I'm in, the places I'm at, God has put me here for a reason. And when I allow doubt and fear to cause me to question, should I really be here? Do I know what I'm doing?
Right.
Is this really meant for me? Then I end up missing out on seeing what God has placed it for me and being able to experience what He has for me on the other side. And so when I push through and I'm doing it for me, it's a whole nother level of self-love where I'm showing myself that I deserve the goodness on the other end. Right now, it doesn't feel good, but I know there's good on the end because I'm here for a reason. God put me here for a reason, and my victory is already won. And so if I give up now, then I don't allow myself to see what I'm deserving of, and then I don't allow myself to treat myself the way that God sees me, right? And so me loving myself and knowing that I deserve the good on the other end is what motivates me to keep pushing through.
Go ahead, sis. I mean, I'm ready to go to church on that one, man. I mean, look, that's real talk though. I love it though. I mean, you hit so many points on the head. Oh my goodness. Tina, I want to go ahead and allow you to answer the same question, sis. I mean, I'm curious to know from you, what keeps you, inspired and motivated to push through, when you find it hard.
Both my kids. I have
All
two
right.
young boys, and one is autistic, and he fought
Oh
hard
no.
to get here. So I believe if he can fight to stay here and have the life that he has, I can do the same to give him the life that he deserves. Those are my inspiration. Those are my go-to. Do what you got to do, mommy. Mommy, you got this. And even just here when they say, "Well, mommy, when you're no longer here, I'm going to run your business. I'm going to keep it going."
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's my inspiration. That's my you got to do this.
Ooh, man, I got chills. My goodness. Look, I cannot even, share words, man. And Gerard, I want to share Gerard's, statement here. I like the way Damon framed the question by saying dotting the I and crossing the T's, because we can go through the motion sometimes and overlook the details. And overlooking the details can cost us time, money, and opportunities. And thank you, Gerard, for saying that, because that really was the goal, of the question. That was the design of the question. Because sometimes we do get lost in so many other things. But Natasha and Tina really shared two, I mean, mind-blowing, views and their personal views of their everyday on how they are attacking these and why they're doing it. And that outweighs everything. And from our family at the Mogul TV Global Network, our children definitely inspire us to go and keep going. Okay, they never lied there. They are ready to take over. Oh, cool, man. Alicia's talking about generational wealth. I couldn't agree with you more. And those two motives tie into, same reason why, to a degree, why I do it. It's all about family. I wouldn't be doing this, honestly, if it wasn't for my family. This was my wife's idea, and I thought she was crazy. I was like, no, seriously. I mean, you want me to get on the microphone? And, really, for those who know me, sometimes I could be reckless. But she really helped her and my family really, indeed, brother, really helped me kind of hone in on what they saw. So I do this for them, because of them. I'm passionate about it, and I have to give kudos to my wife, because she definitely saw something that I didn't. So I agree with you all. Right. And I laugh all the time. Look at me now. Who knew? Mom, I done growed up. uh, but I want to transition really brief to another question. And we're talking about New Year's, we're talking about 2024. You know, I know for me, there's one thing that I look on changing in 24. But what is the one thing that you can share, with our audience, that you plan on changing, whether it be personally or business wise? One thing that you want to change for yourself for the year. And Tina, I'll start with you.
One thing that I want to continue to change for the year that I've already started is perfectionism. That was one of my
Mm.
my struggles for a long time, is trying to be perfect in everything that I do, and I had to learn to just go with the punches and kind of
Wow.
how to learn how to find other ways, alternative ways if I needed to, instead of taking things on so hard if it wasn't so perfect.
Mm. That's I mean that right there is a hard one because you mentioned that earlier. The perfectionist that I don't want to say create or that's within you or drives within you. And I'm just curious. Look, I'm not no therapist. I'm gonna leave that for Natasha and everything. But I don't want to step on nobody's toes. But where do you think or where does that derive from? Because I think that's very interesting spin for someone like yourself. You've been very successful. You have your cosmetic line and the talk show and the author. Like, where do you think that comes from? Or what was that? You know, that kind of became the light, I guess, that you saw. It was like, well, I got to work on that.
My husband actually, um,
Oh.
when I first launched my cosmetics line was back in 2020 with the pandemic,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I was determined to get it started on a particular day when we decided to shut down in our county, and it wasn't perfect. The website, just everything was going, what could go wrong went wrong, and my husband was like, just put it up. He's like,
Mm.
it'll be fine, just put it up. I'm like, well, no, this is not done. He's like, no, just put it up, just watch. You just put it up, it'll be fine. I said, well, I can't do a launch, we can't go anywhere, I can't show anybody anything. He's like, breathe, put it up. You have this time, you have 5 minutes, make it do what it do, put it up, and it'll be fine. Just watch. Be you. You just have to move around differently. And because
Right.
of him, I realized, okay, you know what? I may have a problem here. I might have an issue of trying to be perfect at what I do. And I need to kind of just let go of the reins a little bit.
Well, shout out to the husband, for go ahead and get behind his wife because we don't get credit enough. Shout out to him. And as Gerard said, I feel it's a thin line, between perfectionist and doing things with excellence. And Gerard, that's a very good point. Not even thin. That's fine. That's like a finite line almost, if you will. Somewhere. So that's a very good point. And thanks for the comments, Gerard. And yeah, that's right. We love that support. Because us husbands, man, we do more than just watch football, drink beer, and fart on the
Very
couch.
true.
Yeah, we do more than that. So Tasha, same thing. I want to ask you the same thing. What is your one thing that you plan on changing, whether it be personally or in your business this year?
Yeah, same. Mine is across the board as well, and it is sticking to the plan. I'll have a plan for something, and I'll execute it and follow through on it. But then if it doesn't work out or if it messes up in some way, I don't. Again, the timing thing, me focusing on my time. I won't keep doing it and just like, well, let's try. Let's do it like maybe 3 or 4 times and see, right? Let's like if we plan for to do this for 4 weeks, just because it didn't show up on the first week, let's stick to the plan to finish it out. I'm like, oh, let's come up with a new idea. Like this direction didn't work. We can still aim for the goal, but we might have to do something different to get there instead of just sticking to the plan. And then I end up doing too much. So sticking to the plan.
I love it. We had to throw that one and stick it to the plan. And Antoinette, she's like, wow, that's a good one, Tina. What has helped me with that is an article I read. Will it matter 10 years from now? I'm also OCD.
Mm,
And that's a good one because I guess, and while we're talking about like, will it matter 10 years from now? Like, would it really be something that would matter to you, or would it stick in your craw, if you will? 10 years from now, will it matter? And I'm curious. I see Tina kind of got this smirk like in the back, like her face is saying, heck yeah.
that's the struggle of perfectionism. It's a thin line, but if you
Yeah.
really certain things, you're like, okay, it doesn't matter, and others are like,
Mm,
oh, it does matter.
mm. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
No,
and
for
Natasha, I
sure.
see that grin also says a lot. Because yeah, in the back of your mind, it's like, yeah, that's a heck yeah. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. No, that is a question that's often asked. Is it going to matter sometimes, to be honest, an hour from now, not even 10 years from now, because sometimes the
Wow.
perfectionism can cause you to be so fixated on something. that will not even matter 5 minutes from now, and or find you predicting an outcome that may not even be happening, but you convince yourself that it is going to happen. And then so you end up making decisions based on an assumption instead of the reality, because it's like things have to go this certain way, because if I don't do it this way, then this could happen. And then before you know it, you, like Tina said, you're not able to see the other options. You're not able to be flexible. You end up being more fixed minded.
Okay, I'm gonna tread lightly on this one, because I've heard Mogul TV says yes, as long as you do what you do with impact, then yes, it'll matter in 10 years, and that's coming from hashtag recovering perfectionist. And I'm going to tread really lightly, because if it doesn't matter, let it go, or don't get hung up on it. And Antoinette, that one kind of fits me. Man, if it don't matter, why am I even talking about this thing here? I'm going to go ahead and let it go. I'm going to move on. And I don't know if this is where, what was the book? Women are from Venus and men are Mars, from Mars, or whatever it may be. I'm definitely from Mars, because, man, 2 minutes from now, I'm done with it. I'm on to the next. But maybe that's just me. But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it, though. I do, it's very, that question really just came from, I don't want to minimize anything, but as business owners and human beings, right? Exactly. We're all trying to figure this thing out, and we all have different intricacies and different things that make us tick. But I think it's good sometimes, we share, we laugh about it, we talk about it, but we embrace each other, for who we are and what it is. And sometimes somebody may be watching this, may need to hear that, because it is okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Exactly. Yes. None but smiley faces and hugs and all that good stuff. That's what we do around here. So transition real quick to TV. I don't know if you ladies watch TV or not, or if it's in your wheelhouse to have time to, because I'm sitting here with some powerhouse sisters that do a lot of things. But if you do watch TV, or if you like movies, let's say, is there, I don't know, a favorite TV show or movie that you have? If you do, can you share, what it is, and why does that show maybe resonate with you? Or is it just a de-stress type thing from a long day, from the family, from the kids? Natasha's rocking back. She's like, man, you just don't know. So just curious, if you have one, share it, and why does it resonate with you? And Natasha, I'll start with you.
So I'm horrible with TV in the sense of starting and sticking to the plan. That part, I'm with that with TV. I'm like that with TV. I'll have multiple shows on all the platforms and then forget that I'm watching it because I have too many shows that I'm watching, and then I forget that I'm watching. So there's a lot of shows that I actually have on my continue watching list on all the platforms. So it was hard. So I think, but I would say if I'm thinking like overall and my ultimate favorite show, movie, I'm going to take you guys way back to the 90s.
Okay. Let's go.
Higher Learning, my favorite movie.
Wow. Yeah. Just talking about that yesterday. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So funny
it's
enough,
so relevant now. If you watch it now, it's like it didn't get old at all. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Stick to the plan, lady. Stick to the plan. No, we were actually so this question kind of came derived from some other questions, but my daughter has sent out a question, this whole movie list of how many movies. It was like 50 movies, and you get a point for every one. And my wife and I were sitting there, I guess, again, dating ourselves, like, yeah, wait a minute, Higher Learning wasn't on. They were like, what kind of bleep 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 is this? Like, whose list? But so it's this ironic that yes, that was a great movie. It was a great movie, great cast, very inspiring, impactful, and it was definitely ahead of its time. But that was a great one. So Tina, same question. One movie or TV show that maybe resonates with you, or just helps you kick off some steam or stress after a long day, and why does it resonate with you?
So I'm actually an oddball. I like science fiction just to get away from reality.
Hmm.
Pitch Black. This was, I
Okay.
believe, back in the '90s. Anything Riddick. That
Mm,
those are my kind of
Mhm,
movies to watch just to get
mhm.
away from reality and life. See
I
something a
love
little
that.
bit different than what's outside.
I love that because I was into the sci-fi thing too. The whole really, and this is when Vin Diesel was hot. I mean, that's for you ladies, but I mean, from an action standpoint and the sci-fi standpoint, great movies. And I'm like that. I like a lot of things. My wife and I, we like to get together Friday nights and we like to watch horror movies.
Mm.
That's kind of our thing. Anything scary or horror is kind of our alley. Now, for me, of course, the bloodier the better. But that's just a guy thing. But I'm heavy into, again. I guess because not even I guess I know my background. I'm very being a political science major and being into law. So any type of law and order, any type of crime series, trying to figure it out. I mean, even like Dateline, they tell these stories, what happened to people, like anything like that, kind of gets me going. So I'm very into things like that. And I guess, like I said, the reason why this really resonates because I've always been curious and I like to read and, being in the politics, if you will. Uh, I'm still, like I said, I'll read anything and everything. And like those shows just make me want to go ahead and invest. And like, I don't know. I don't think they know they talking about that. CSI wasn't CSI. Like, like I'm going to go ahead and be able to change the outcome of the case. But, that's kind of my mindset. Yep. See, even that answer like 2020. I love a good episode of 2020. I can sit down and watch those. Matter of fact, I think they got a 2020 channel. And now I'm probably telling on myself because those are the type of things I like to do in my private time. So
I love a good suspense. I love a good
yeah.
suspense. And Tina, I'm with you. I love a good sci-fi. So yeah.
Hmm. I, I
Hmm.
I couldn't agree with you more. So we're gonna transition with one more again. And I want to get this comment in because I just seen it popped up. What we got here? Okay, from our friends at Mogul TV. Yep. Oh, SWAT, NCIS, CSI. All of those. I mean, now after a while, though, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how many NCISs we on. I think we done been to every major American
See,
city. Right. I don't know how many more we gonna do, but I do like them. I'm not gonna lie. I do like them. Um, what we got here? I think I saw something else. Nope. Okay. I want to transition to the news. We are in 2024, and we've kind of come across a news cycle that is kind of really been out of control. We've had several people in the news, and this was actually pre 2024, but it's still bleeding into 2024. My man P. Diddy.
Hmm.
Some call him Diddy, P. Diddy, Love, whatever you want to call him. Uh, I usually don't, spend a lot of time with stuff like that, but because it's flooded, our airwaves and news waves and media, I'm curious from you ladies, your standpoint and view, because I just had this conversation. Actually, went on a couples retreat, and we were talking about Diddy. And I'm curious for you, like, do we? But one, how do you feel about it? And you know, your take on the situation. And two, do we cancel him like R. Kelly? Because I know I canceled R. Kelly and his music
Hmm.
from my music library after the horrors that we heard. Now I know I'm a little extreme, and I'm not saying everyone else has to be, but I'm curious to know from your standpoint, uh, you know, what's your view and take on him? Thanks, Sam. Yeah, we not gonna take no drinks from Diddy. I appreciate it, brother. Now we gonna leave them drinks at the bar. We not taking them. I agree with you so much. How much do you feel television? Okay, Gerard, I'm gonna put a pin in that one. We're gonna come back because that's a great question. But I want to let the lady start. I'm gonna start with Natasha. How do you feel about Diddy and his situation going on right now in the news?
I think the first thing that came to mind was what's hidden in the dark always eventually comes out in the light.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
because his story is similar to Cosby. His story is similar to R. Kelly's story is similar to a lot of the other individuals, power players in the industry that has been doing something for years, and then it comes out and very similar, like you said, no drink thing. That was Cosby. Don't take up the drink from Cosby, right? It's like, oh, you know. And so I will say I was surprised, but I guess that's how we always are when we first find out, like shocked that this was happening. But then you look back and like, well, I do remember that Making a Band episode. He made them walk all the way to get cheesecake. It was a little crazy, I guess. Now looking back, right? So I think it's just like, who else? Who else is out there doing? At this point, it's like, who else is out there doing something? And just be careful, because somebody's going to end up bringing your stuff out. And you know, Cosby was in the 70s. He didn't die before it came out. It came out in the 70s or 80s, however old he is. So yeah.
I stopped eating Jello pudding pops because of Bill Cosby. So sorry, sorry, Tina. Sorry. There I go. So Tina, what's your take on Diddy?
I can't say I'm surprised, because Making a Band was kind of the first. Okay, you're going across the bridge for a piece of pie. Okay, yeah, no, and just a lot of even when the bands started to break apart, and allegedly looking over some of the things that's being mentioned on Instagram and TikTok about one of the past singers showing her contracts of what she could and couldn't say with her NDA. And now that it's about to be up, she's ready to speak as well. So I think that it all goes back to treat others the way you want to be treated. Yeah. Don't do anything to anyone that you don't want done to you or your family or anyone that you love. So that's pretty my take on that.
You never lied on that one. So I want to go back and guess. Lance, on that, 2024 will continue to uncover many more scandals, I'm sure. We're off for a wild ride. But I do want to go back to Gerard's question, because I thought that was a great question. And he asked, how much do you feel television, and he puts in, comments here, parentheses that, news, movies, reality TV affect our society. And he's really going specifically to our community. And I think that's a great question. And I want to allow you ladies to address that, because I know I have feelings and thoughts on it. So I'd like to go ahead and get your thoughts and feelings. So Tina, I'll start with you.
Unfortunately, it affects our community a lot. Even though it says it's entertainment, it's just for entertaining us. The entertainment part has been missed. People are looking up to celebrities as their idols, as people that they can follow and do what they do, even though a lot of celebrities will tell you, even though they're playing this part as a drinker or rapping about drinking or doing drugs, they don't actually do that. Or they're rapping about not going to school. They've actually got their degree. There's a lot of things that people misconcept from entertainers and take it as reality, when it's supposed to be the opposite. You're supposed to let them entertain you. That's what they're paid to do. And then you take your life and the people that's physically in your circle and learn from them.
Ooh, man. Whew. I had to take a breath on that one. That right there was very well said. Very well said. Natasha, I'm curious to hear. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it, sis.
Yeah, I think when Tina said that the television is supposed to be used for entertainment, and we're not using it as that, the first thing that came to mind was it's supposed to be used for entertainment, but instead it's being used as education. And so similar to like what Tina was saying, there's this reality of they're supposed to be entertaining us. And so because it's supposed to be entertaining, there's all this drama. People are having these different facades showing up in a very stereotypical way. And unfortunately, for many people, especially people who are not in that community, that's the only connection they have to that community or inside of that community. And then they use that as education of, this is how this community is, or this is who people who live in this community or who are a part of this community, this is who they are. And then there's West when the biases and the stereotypes and the, you know, misunderstanding comes in because they're using entertainment as education. And then also just like with Twitter and you know, shade room, that's being used as education. So instead of, like you were saying, picking up a book to learn yourself, it's like nobody's watching the regular news, or if they're watching the news, they're using social as their news now. And so there's fake news going around and using that as education instead of really looking it up themselves and looking and really using their own knowledge to determine what's right and what's wrong. They're allowing media to determine what's right and what's wrong.
Look, man, you ladies spoken true facts. And you know, our friends at Mogul TV kind of took part of my thunder where I kind of come from in my mindset, my space. But I'm going to read it because to me it's important. You know, unfortunately, we have too many adults, so-called adults, you know, are still able to be mentally swayed or encouraged to try to be a certain way. And I really find that a lot. Like I look at some people like, you know, you got to be too old, really too old to be really. Are you accepting this? Like really, like you don't have the mental fortitude or capacity to really stand on your own, stand out and be different. But it's easier to fall within the pack, you know, and follow everyone else. I want to say, you know, Sam, you know, he throws out there, you know, reality TV and social media really does have everyone feeling like they're a celebrity. You know, you got a couple of videos up, you know, you get a couple of followers. Man, look at me. I'm out here killing the game, you know, and it's so true. You know, Alicia, I love your, you know, and this one could be very touchy for some, I believe. You know, for those who have kids, you know, I've stopped letting my baby watch Coco Melon. You know, they're exposing kids to what some would call a sin. You know, there's two dads in the same home, and then there's others that would say, oh, that's a thing. And, you know, that one is one of those you really want to tread lightly nowadays, you know, depending on how you respond and what side of the fence you sit on, there's a lot of attack and abuse that is really being spewed out here nowadays without really just everybody coming together and just having a conversation, because everybody's thoughts and feelings are valid. You know, Mogul TV, our friend tells us again, nowadays everybody's trying to be an influencer, you know, using the wrong methods to gain that influence. And that I couldn't really agree more with that. So true. You know, Gerard came back, you know, and let us know. And honestly, it's beyond entertainment. You know, as you ladies both said, it's education, and the behaviors that once were frowned on are now glorified. Now that glorified part, man, we out of control with some of the things that are being glorified. Man, I know, let me be quiet before I get in trouble here. And to Natasha, you know, from Mogul, you know, to making our friends at Mogul TV Global, you know, now they have no idea of what's right and what's wrong because their beliefs and ideals have been influenced by all the nonsense we are forced to digest. And that's the back half of it is no matter where you go now, in the news, in social media, you're getting bad news, misinformation, and most people think that that's true. And, you know, it's really becoming hard to combat misinformation and really stay focused. And as Sam says, the industry push what the industry wants. Once you go against that grain based on your beliefs, you become the problem. And that, man, man, that's a real sensitive topic. You know, I've had to learn how to move past these minefields because in the past, like I said, I know I can be reckless, but I'm trying to stay gainfully employed, and I'm trying to stay, you know, trying to sleep in my bed. You know, my wife be unhappy I come home without a paycheck. And Antoinette says, you know, Sam Adams, unfortunately, Sam, this is true as well. Now, we talked about Diddy, and we've been talking about 2024. Well, 2024 really came in with a heck of a bang with this next person we going to talk about. I mean, this was all kind of shots fired, people being thrown out of the building being set on fire, whatever the worst thing you can think. My man right here, Katt. Woo-wee. Man, I'm gonna let y'all take a break for a minute because just thinking about it, that dude came out on Club Shay Shay And exactly, Alicia. It was a whole lot of eyes. It was 3 hours worth of eyes. And then you had to go back and dissect it some more just to get the rest. I mean, the man came out shooting shots. And I'm just curious. Yeah, Katt. Yeah, I love Katt too, and all that good stuff. Katt let all the cats out the bag. He really did. And dogs and bones and everything else. Yeah, Natasha, what is your take on Katt Williams and some of the bodies and some of the shots that he was taking on Club Shay Shay? And you can pick up anywhere or any piece of dialogue, wherever you want, whoever you want on this one. This is one wide open.
I could tell you when I was watching it, one, he just came out the blue, right? He came out of the blue in the sense of like he hasn't had any shows or anything recently, right? And so he comes out and then he comes out just like like Scarface style, like I'm hitting everybody. And I'm like, why is he so angry? What happened? Like he wasn't here. Did something happen in between the time we last seen him that has made him want to like target the entire comedy industry? I don't know if he missed anybody. At least the black side. I don't know if he missed any black comedian. I feel like he had every black comedian once I forgot about he done brought up. I was like, what is happening here? So for me, I was like, why is he so angry? I don't know. I mean, Katt's always been very straightforward, but not as I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but he's never come at this way where he's like, then it wasn't like nice, like, well, maybe, no, he was intentionally calling everybody out and saying y'all all suck. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at his head because that you can only hold that smile and that look but for so long, and you got thoughts.
It goes back to my original saying: treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
It's not much. He's done it before on one of the radio stations here in Georgia. So I would just say that if you bring him up or you have something that is not right, be ready for him to tell you about yourself one way or the other. Just he has been gone, as Natasha said, for a while. I haven't seen him really on anything, and all of a sudden here he comes, just naming names, and he's not even trying to be discreet. He's literally calling names. He's not trying to hide anything.
No.
So it goes back to treat others the way you want to be treated, because if you hit the wrong person, they're going to come after you, and he came after them.
Well, look, we got you here at Mogul TV Global because we're not going to let them cancel. You can go ahead and speak freely. Speak your piece, as Tamika and the family like to say. Go ahead and say it now. You got clear runway, so go ahead. You want to go ahead and let off a few more shots, because I mean it was crazy. Like Antoinette said, he took the whole lid off. I don't even know if 2024 can really have. I mean that was super spicy. That was like that ghost pepper challenge that everybody was going around having, because I wasn't ready for it. I had to go back and replay. Like, did he really say what he just said? And for him to quantify, as Sam said, I did after going back through it probably after the 5th or 6th time. Really, not really, because I mean it was crazy in the sense of we know he's funny. I always thought he was a funny guy, a little different.
Yeah.
But to listen to him go through the list and the catalog and the people and the things that he was saying, if we're going to be honest, this is almost 10 days, almost 2 weeks later, no one has actually come out and said that he was lying. So nobody's challenged him on any of the points that he made. So as crazy and as much of a rapid fire, I'm bang bang shooting them dead out here in the streets. Ain't nobody called the police, and the police ain't showed up. So he couldn't have been lying. And that's right. And it's to the point where now, Alicia, I'm with you. There's really no comeback now that can be said. there's nothing else to really say at this point other than, like you just said, he right. Katt shut all doors, and yes, his storytelling, was impeccable. Now there was some things I do believe that he embellished. He is a comedian. But overall, right, let the truth be told. I mean, the man, he was out there, cats, dogs, hide the women and children, hide your wives. Everybody was out there getting it.
There were
Lastly,
some comedians trying to have a rebuttal, like Cedric the Entertainer, and I think maybe one other person, but like you said,
but
nobody else has really said anything else
right, but I
back.
mean, okay, I saw Cedric and I saw a few other people come out and say what they said, but there was never a rebuttal in a sense, oh, he's lying, and nobody brought any receipts, if you will,
Yeah.
to prove otherwise. Now he, on the other hand, some is that he had receipts, and he came through with it, and right. So as you're saying, Alicia, Ice Cube cleared the air on some things, but for the most part, left everything else alone. And the part that I saw, he kind of validated some of what Katt said, and did not dispute some things and say that he was lying. And Ice Cube was on the set, right? So I'm gonna go, because if anybody would say, Cube would say, nah, man, he lying. And he never did. Yeah, I don't know, because after all of the laughter, I don't know about the suing part. They can go ahead and try, and I mean, somebody out there might say it's slander. But they could try, but man, good luck. Because in the court of national appeal, they failing. He told the truth on that, in my opinion. So last people would like to jump in on the news and discuss. We've had this kind of drag in from last year, and it's still kind of I won't say it's hot of a topic, but I think it's a sore topic for some. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you, ladies, your thoughts about Taraji and Oprah. This whole let's hold hands, don't touch me, back and forth that's kind of been playing out, with sometimes with their physical appearances when they show up together, and then Taraji in the news with her comments and thoughts. So yeah, he did. I'm curious to know, ladies, what do you feel? And Tina, I'll start with you. What do you feel about this whole back and forth with Taraji and Oprah?
I think it's sad. I feel that as women, we should be able to do things together, especially Black women, be able to work together and have a good time and be able to make sure that we're being treated fairly on both ends. I think it's really sad. Just to know, growing up with Oprah, especially, and to see where she's came from, and to watch Taraji, it's heartbreaking,
Yeah.
especially knowing that this conversation has been had before, especially with the pay. That's been a big conversation in the industry, for Black actresses. The pay is
Mm,
just, it's never right.
right.
So to have this whole spin around here in 2024 is, it's mind boggling, but it's hurtful at the same time.
Mm. I like that, and before I ask you the same question though, a couple of the comments that, Monique tried to warn them and support each other, and I'm going to ask you the same question, Natasha, but while I have you, Tina, like what do you say about that, the back history, the alleged back history, if you will, of, Monique trying to warn them, and what can, I guess, our sisters do? Heck, our Black community as actors and entertainers, when it comes to, like, in your opinion, is there something that you see or feel that they can do, to support each other, or maybe not just go at each other this way through the media, maybe go through back channels? I'm just curious to hear what you might have to say on that.
I think first of all, they owe Monique an apology for trying to
Mm,
blackball her. They owe her a
mhm,
huge apology, for
mm,
trying to blackball her when she tried to warn everyone and let them know, hey, this is a big issue. It may not affect you now, but down the road it will. And here we
mm,
are. It's affecting them, and everyone is trying to speak out, but it's not going as simple.
mm,
My solution, if I was in their shoes, would to have a sit down, come to God meeting, just at least,
mm,
and
mhm,
kind of hash out everything. Put your feelings on the forefront, be grown women, but then come up with a solution of how you can make this change. That way it can help everyone now and in the future. because the bickering back and forth is not helping. It's just making things worse.
Not at all. I like that. So Natasha, I want to ask you the same thing, and I agree with Tamika and our friends at Mogul Global TV. As women, we should be uplifting towards one another, and unfortunately, as Black women, it's even more important. That's very, very well stated, Natasha. So same thing. What are your takes, on the situation, and your take on Monique trying to, kind of throw the flag out and wave them, and how can we, as women in the industry, support each other?
Yeah, I think, and Taraji was talking about, she's been doing more talks about just constantly fighting to be recognized and being paid for what her worth is, and having to still go through that even with on this set. I think I don't know how involved Oprah is within the financial aspect of all of that, but I think that, similar to what Tina was saying, if being able to just, you would think, because one of the things that Black actresses and actors always say is actually Hollywood is a small community. The Black actor and actress community is pretty small, and so you would think, because it's small, not saying everybody has to be best friends, but because it's small and when they know the struggle is real, that there would be moments where they're uplifting and helping each other, but there's still the crab and the barrel thing happening even in this industry. And so it's sad to see that, where the struggle of just us uplifting each other and helping each other, but then also what also is upsetting is that often in media, as Black women, we're often trying to be put against each other. And we're often being put, like, we don't get along. We're always at each other's back. Again, the whole crab in a barrel thing. And Taraji and Oprah tried their best to not to show it on camera, but it was evident. And then, in media, that's what they do. They like the drama. We just talked about that earlier.
Right.
And so any little thing, they're going to use it to make it bigger than what it is. So it's interesting to know, is it really as big as they're making it, or has it become big because media has made it bigger than what it really was, right? And because a lot of times that usually happens, it may have not been that that deep of a situation, but because now media has put fire in it, now it's become this big conflict, which often happens with Black women and media. And so it's heartbreaking to see that again being portrayed as two Black women, quote unquote, at each other's throat type of thing.
You put a very great spin on it. That kind of, I think, leads to part of what Alicia was asking. In the point of does Oprah feel as maybe though that Taraji hasn't worked as hard as she has, and I think that's an interesting question because they've both been successful, though I guess in two different ways, yet in coming back and crossing over in the same way. And you spoke of a very good point too, Natasha, as Black women, and said sometimes it's viewed as, and ladies, you can speak to this better than I can, that two women of color or Black women can't be in the space and work together in the same space. One, I feel like that has to be very disheartening and discouraging. But being in the space that you are, like, how do you go about, because sometimes you probably get that negative feedback or energy, from another sister, and I'm just curious, like, how do you approach it? Like, do you just have that conversation right then and there? Because I really hate to say that, this will spin into a Oprah Taraji type thing, but how do you handle those type of situations? And Tina, please start.
I've actually been in a situation like that before, and it's literally trying to see, instead of getting a hearsay, go to the horse's mouth directly. Because if you get it from someone else, they will tell you all types of things to put you against each other. And then when you actually talk to the person, you realize they were told something differently than what was actually said, and that creates a whole drama. And once you actually talk to each other, you realize you have a lot more in common than what was let on, and you become good friends a lot of times. So it's usually going directly to the person, because depending on what you do, even in pageantry, they will put you against each other.
Yeah.
In certain
Yeah.
systems, if you're not careful, you will be put against someone that you may be close with that could be your best friend.
Wow. Wow. Shut up, boy. I tell you, Natasha, for you, how have you handled, maybe that tense situation or that underlying conflict, if you will, that's sitting in the room?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when you said that, the first thing I was thinking of is when I'm in a space and I'm around new people, and Black women in particular. And just naturally, sometimes we have a very resting bitch face, as you can call it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're guarded a lot of times because we all day long we're trying to make sure, like, nobody's taking advantage or they're treating us with respect. And so sometimes there could be this demeanor where it looks like the person is not approachable, or they're looking at you with judgment, right? And if you go with that, then you miss the opportunity of finding out, like, this lady over here, she actually really cool. And so I would get the vibe and energy, like, oh, I don't know if she has an attitude. Is she okay? Is everything all right? And instead of me just like taking an assumption that she has an attitude, she's not nice, she's gonna be mean or disrespectful or what have you, I'll still allow myself to approach her, give her a compliment. And it turns out she's super cool, pretty
Mm.
smile, engaging. So that's how I usually end up, breaking that ice and not allowing the physical appearance to deter me from meeting somebody who actually can be really a good person.
Mm. Awesome. That right there, man. We were keeping it light, but we had to get in. We had to get into a serious moment, because I mean that's what we do around here. And yes, Alicia, yes, I promise I'm approachable. Yeah, Alicia is probably one of the most approachable people. She's a sweetheart. Appreciate her and the work that she's doing with the whole Mogul Global TV family. Uh, and we're coming to the back end. Of I mean, this has been a fan. Who knew time flies when you're having fun. And yes, Tamika. Yes, Alicia, really, yes. I'm gonna let y'all two handle that one. I'm not getting it. We can't get in family business. We're not doing that. But it's been a great, fun, eye-opening conversation this evening. But I do, we've turned into a serious moment, but I do want to just kind of get serious for a second, because I want to talk more about the two of you, uh, and your businesses and what you yes, this has been a very awesome conversation with these ladies. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. Always. I want to go out talking about you both. And I want to allow you, Natasha, if you would give our audience a little bit more about you and your show here on the Mogul Global TV Network, the number one network, ladies and gentlemen, for positive program. If you didn't know, that's what we do on the Mogul TV Global Network. But please take a moment to go ahead and share, some about yourself, your show, what it's all about, where we can find it, when is it coming back, like all that good stuff.
Yes, yes. I'm so excited. So it's my show is Unapologetic Living, and it's all about tips, how to's on just living unapologetically, how to be able to really show up as your authentic self, live and do the things that you want to live, you want to do to live your best life as your best self unapologetically. And so
All right.
season 2 is coming out this summer. Season 2 is coming out this summer, and it's going to be jam packed with amazing interviews with individuals who are just living unapologetically, talking about their journey. I'm super excited. You can find me on, of course, the Global TV Network for sure, to watch any of season 1. It's all on there. It has some great episodes. I did something called the Unapologetic Circle, where I interviewed guests about what it means to be unapologetic, including men. I had a episode with men talking about the unapologetic man. So something for everybody. And you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Speak Life Transformation, on YouTube at Speak Life Transformation TV, and on Facebook at Living Speak Life. So yeah, check out my website. If you want a freebie, I have a freebie available. If you want some tips and some strategies on being able to just boost your mood in the morning so you can wake up with energy and feeling positive, so that can last all day. I have some great self-care tips and strategies. So you can go to our website, speakliketransformation.com, click the link on the banner to be able to get access to that freebie.
Woo, that's just the bad. Y'all ain't know. That's just the bad. Definitely check Natasha out, man. Look, I'm honored and I'm inspired, just to be here sharing, this platform with you. You're awesome. So make sure you go check it out. But make sure we try and drop this, and we'll edit all that information and we'll put that in the comments. I want everybody to be able to go out, support my network mates. This is what we do. This is what it looked like on Mogul Global. Tina, definitely not last but not least, I want to allow you, please take a moment, talk about your show, your book, your cosmetic lines. I mean, this is another powerhouse, y'all. So sit back and we're gonna go ahead and let Tina go ahead and do what she do.
Okay, well, we're going to start with the show Beauty in Me with Tina. Go back to YouTube, Mogul TV. Season 1 is on there. We're all about self-care, everything from fashion tips, makeup tips, spa day at home tips. We have everything to remind you to take care of yourself. Season 2 is coming in February, where we are talking a little bit more in depth about mentally taking care of yourself and physically taking care of your body as well. So I'm excited for that with some of our guests coming up. And then on to the cosmetic side of Bella by Tina Foy, which is luxury skincare and cosmetics. We want you to be able to take care of your skin, have that inner glow that you have show on the outside as well, with vegan items and wonderful. I have on some makeup actually right now from my line, which is very lightweight and simple to put on. Get those 5 minutes tips in for quick looks so you can feel beautiful inside and out. And rolling over on into my book, which right now is a free ebook, 5 Minutes Bliss Self-Care Guide for Busy Moments, which is also available at Beauty in Me with Tina on my site as well. So just a lot of self-care. It's all about self-love. If you don't love yourself, you can't take care of anybody else or love anyone else correctly. So we want to just kind of promote that and get that going. And from TikTok to IG to Facebook is all Beauty in Me with Tina.
All right. Well, look. Whew. Hey, I'll make sure y'all get all of that. But please, whatever you do, I hope you all first of all had a good time this evening, bringing in the new year with us. Ladies, I cannot thank you enough for sitting here with the cross promotion, cross platforming, and really just sharing yourselves, with me and our audience, and that's right, because self-love is where it's at. And I just really, can't thank you enough. It's been awesome. It's been amazing. I want to thank our audience, for participating. For those you I see sitting in the background, now I understand. It's the new year. Work on a resolution. Next week live when we come back. I want to hear from you. Speaking of next week live, I'll be coming back next week with, I believe Lisa Leonard will be our guest. She's the founder and CEO of Competitive Edge EQ. We're going to be talking sports and education. Another powerful sister that's going to be coming through, sliding through. And look, it's been a great show. Most of you know me. I'm your man, Dame DNYDC, Damon Cunningham for others. You can follow me across social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, or whatever that thing is, which I really don't use anymore, at Dame DNYDC. Make sure you continue. And if you haven't, make sure you go ahead and go down there. You hit that subscribe button. For those of y'all on YouTube, follow Two Mics Up across all social media at Two Mics Up, IG, Facebook, X, all in YouTube. Holla at me, Dame DNYC. And for those of y'all who haven't figured this out yet, this is Two Mics Up. We are season 6. We are part of the Mogul TV Global Network. Did I say this already? #1 network for positive programming. Okay. Well, if y'all don't get it, we only do positive TV around here. Myself and my guests that are here tonight. And I just want to, if I could, just take a minute before we close out. We're in 2024, and this is how we started out 2020. the show. But as we close the chapter to 2023 and look ahead to 24, I'm just going to ask you all to take a moment to express gratitude for the experiences and the lessons that have shaped you. 2023 was a tough year. Many of us have had challenges. We celebrated our victories and forged new connections like we did here this evening. I want us to carry on that wisdom that's gained here, in 2024, so that it'll fuel our ambitions and our aspirations. Work to embrace the opportunities that lie ahead of you, and do so with courage and determination. Set your sights on growth, both personally and professionally. Keep striving to reach new heights and leave your positive impact on the world. So let's be grateful, friends, for the year going by, and approach this year with a heart full of thanks and a mind ready to soar. Here's to, a year 2024 of endless possibilities. I thank you all. And like we always do, ladies and gentlemen, at this time before we go, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this comment in before we go. Let's go. That's right. 2 mics up, coming to Mogul TV Global Network. Let's go. And as we close out, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a few things like I always do as I close out each and every show. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out.